Okay, today I'm going to be making some white bread, some sandwich bread, and for the recipe I'm going to use 2 cups of lukewarm water, 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, active dry yeast, 6 tablespoons of sugar, 7 cups of flour, 4 tablespoons of canola oil, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, to begin, I warmed up my bowl. I put some warm water. It's been sitting here for like 20 minutes. You don't need it to warm up that long. 5 or 10 minutes is good. Just empty out the water. I'm going to add the 2 cups of lukewarm water, the yeast, and the sugar. I'm going to stir that up, and I'm trying to proof the yeast, make sure that it's good. And after I mix this, I'm going to let it sit for a couple minutes until it foams up. It's been 6 minutes, and as you can see, the yeast foamed up, which means that it's good yeast. Now we're going to continue with the next step. I'm going to add the oil. Lock it. Okay, now that I stirred the first ingredients, I'm going to start adding the flour. I'm going to put half of it right now, then I'm going to give it a stir, let that mix in, then I'm going to put the rest of the flour in. Okay, now that the flour mixed in a little bit, I'm going to put the rest of the flour in, and then I'm going to turn the mixer on again. Okay, so I turn the machine back on, and I'm just letting it all mix in until everything gets incorporated and there is no more flour visible, and it doesn't stick to the bowl. As I was mixing this, I noticed that my dough was trying to come out of the mixer, and I was wondering why I was doing that, and then I figured out that I put the wrong paddle on here. This one I use for like cake batter, and what I need is the dough hook, which is this one here. So I'm gonna take this one off and replace it with this one. Okay, now that I have the correct hook on the machine, I'm going to start it, and I'm gonna let it mix until everything is incorporated and nothing is sticking to the sides of the bowl.
Go.
It's been about 10 minutes, and I've had it on low because since I have 7 cups of flour in here, it's been wanting to come out of my bowl. So I have to stop it and push it back down. But after 10 minutes, if you look in here, it is not sticking to the sides of the bowl anymore. It all came up with the hook. It's soft. It doesn't stick to my fingers. It bounces back when you press it. So what I'm going to do right now is remove it from here, and I'm going to put it in another bowl that I have already ready. I've coated it with some olive oil. So here's my bowl. I've already covered it with olive oil. I'm going to put this dough in here, and then we're going to let it rise. I removed it from the bowl, from the mixing bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in my bowl that's coated with some olive oil. Put it upside down first, just roll it around, let it get covered with the oil, and then flip it, just roll it around again. Make sure it's covered with oil so that it doesn't dry out while it's rising. So now I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to put it in my oven and let it rise.
Go.
I'm going to turn on my oven to proof. It has a proof setting, so I press proof and then start. And this will just let the oven warm up just enough for the dough to rise. Put it in here, and I'll come and check on it in about 30 minutes. It's been 45 minutes now, and I think it is ready. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, they more than doubled in size. So if you have that proof feature on your oven, I recommend that you use the size. So it's definitely ready. I'm gonna punch it out. I'll just put my fist in there, let the air out. I'm going to sprinkle with some flour, using my handy dandy container with flour in it. And just take out the dough. I don't like handling it too much because if you do, then you're going to have to let it rest for another 5-10 minutes before you can actually form it into the shape that will go into the bread container. So after I take it out of the bowl, I cut it in half since I'm making 2 loaves. Let's set one aside. This one, I'm going to stretch it out into a rectangle. Just keep pressing it outward and shape it as best you can into a rectangle. Right now it's a little bit thicker here than here, so I'm going to press it this way, stretch it out this way. Once I have the rectangle that I want, I will roll it up and put it in the container. Okay, now that I have it in a good size rectangle, I try to make it so that it's the same length as this container. Now I am going to roll it like a taco. Burrito. And just kind of roll it a little bit to close it at the bottom. I'm going to tuck it in at the ends. Just give it a little massage. Once it looks like this, then we just put it in the container. And I forgot to mention that these containers, I covered the inside with butter so it doesn't stick. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the other one right now. Now that I have put my dough in my containers, I'm going to let it rise one more time until the dough has risen 1 to 1.5 inches above the rim of the container. So like about here, and then it'll be ready to put in the oven. I'm going to proof it in my oven, so I'm just gonna put it in like this as it is. But if you're not gonna proof it in the oven, just go ahead and cover it with the cloth and just let it sit in a warm place. An hour. And it looks like an inch above the rim. So what I'm gonna do now is heat the oven, and then I'll bring it up. I'm gonna heat it up to 400 degrees. The oven is preheated now to 400 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bread in the middle rack. I'm gonna put it in here for 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna take it out and cover it with the tin foil so that the tops don't continue to brown out. It's been 13 minutes since I put the bread in the oven, and it looks good right now. It still needs a little bit more time of baking, but since the tops are already turning dark, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it with this foil paper so it doesn't get too dark. And I'm gonna put it back in. It needs to be in the oven for a total of 25 to 30 minutes. It's been a total of 25 minutes since I put the bread in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and take them out now. And now I'm gonna let it cool down for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna take them out and rub them with butter to soften the crust. It's been about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and take them out of the pan. It easily slides out. Pan's still a little bit hot, but there it is. So what I'm gonna do now is just rub the top. I'm gonna rub it with some butter so that it doesn't get too crunchy. Okay. Just a stick of butter and just rub it like you're coloring. Make sure you do it all over. I'm gonna do this, finish this one, and then I'll butter up the other one. The bread has been cooling down for several hours now, and the outside is soft, it's not crunchy at all, and that's because of the butter. Now I'm gonna go ahead and slice it and take a look at the inside. Yummy. Let's see. Ooh, nice and soft. Delicious.